how's it going? Welcome to another episode of SA Magnet Fisher, and we're doing stuff a little differently today. Weather's horrible out there. They're predicting some hardcore showers, and so I thought, why not do a top 10 of my favorite equipment? Now guys, if you are new to this channel, please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Right next to it's the bell icon. Go ahead and click that to be notified every time one of these drops. And of course, if you want to get your hands on any of the equipment I use, or anybody else for that matter, they're all the same at the end of the day. Go down to the drop box, you'll find a little link to Metal Detector South Africa. These guys are awesome. They do anything treasure hunting related, anything from metal detectors to little pointers, underwater stuff, a whole array of magnets by a company called Big John Magnets, which have some of the most insane powerful magnets you will ever see. And yeah, just use SA Magnet Fisher as your promo and they will look after you in a bit. Alright, so now let's get on with the top 10. So the first thing I want to go over with is clothing. Alright, now obviously you can go out there with anything you want, but it's going to get ruined, guaranteed, because you throw your magnet into muddy waters, sometimes dirty waters, sometimes clean, beautiful, pristine rivers, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of mud down there. Our magnets are very heavy, so they're dragging through the mud, and every time you bring it up, that water spills all over you. You're kind of handling the rope and it rubs up against you. I've never had a day where the front part of my shirt was not completely brown and yucky and stinky of river, because that's what's going to happen. The river water has a smell to it, and that gets right into the clothing. So it's always advisable to take something that you can pull over you. In most cases, I found myself stopping at a McDonald's, stopping at a shop to pick up some groceries, stopping to get a cool drink, and then I look like I've fallen out of a wagon, which is nothing wrong with, but at the end of the day, you want to make sure that, you're a little protected. So my first item is a jacket. This is an overall jacket, very strong, very thick. It protects your arms quite nicely. It's got these little shiny bits so that if cars come, they can actually see you. These reflect in the sun, just to be a little safer. They come all the way down to your arm. Now look guys, obviously when there's summer, it gets a little hotter out there, then you could possibly wear something with a shorter sleeve if you need to. But at the same time, if you have old clothing, that's fine. You're not planning on going to the shop afterwards or doing something afterwards, that's fine too. But this is one of my top tips, is to make sure that you have one of these available so that you can simply zip it off, take it off, throw it in the back of the car, and then walk into the shops. Right, now the second thing that I recommend you take with you is some water and soap. So I have a little container and some hand soap. This stuff is very important because you are dealing with a lot of mud and muck, and your hands are going to get dirty. It's just the way this hobby works. So it's always nice to be able to wash your hands in some clean water and some soap when you're done, so that you have clean hands. And there's obviously the smell. The smell is always going to be there if you're not careful. So always make sure you have one of these. Get yourself one of those nail cleaners as well. That's always nice to have, because the stuff always gets in underneath your nails. And let's face it, our partners don't want us to smell like a river when we get into bed, or if we sit at the dinner table. So this is always nice to have with you. Always take some water and soap, and it's always handy to have this kind of stuff around to clean your magnets with, to clean your ropes, to do anything that cleaning is related. So that's number 2, some good awesome water and some soap. The next thing is number 3, is to have some gloves. Now you always hear people saying, gloves, wear gloves, wear gloves, wear gloves. Guys, the only reason we ask people to do this is we've all been out there and we've all seen what's in the rivers. There are some really sharp objects, broken tins that have been rusted and they have some sharp edges, glass, you'll be surprised, just glass alone. There are needles, blades, the stuff that you find in these rivers that connect to your magnet are absolutely insane. So the gloves are really there to protect yourself from it. I like using these chemical gloves. These things are insane. They are super thick. They are super thick, very, very, very strong. They are a little on the thick side, but I absolutely love using them. I still have full mobility. They come all the way down to my arm. If you look at my arm, you can actually see brown and white. That's how the sun tanned my arm. Anyway, useless information. These gloves are extremely strong. I've had these for probably 2 weeks now, and they haven't even started deteriorating yet. And they're used in the chemical industry to protect against acids and stuff like that. The only negative thing about a glove like this is your arm and hand does get sweaty, a little sweaty inside in summer. But, you know, small sacrifice, because at least your hand comes out without any river smell, any of that river muck underneath your nails or anything like that. But again, this is only a preference thing. There are gloves out there that are completely breathable, with a rubber coating on the outside of the hands and material on the inside, on the outside of the hand. And those, you know, obviously you're going to get some muck and stuff around your nails and stuff, and that can be very hard to clean them out. I realized that early in my magnet fishing career. But as you can see, guys, very nice gloves. These are purchased at any hardware store, big hardware stores. Just go to those the glove section, and I promise you, you'll find hundreds of types of gloves. These cost me in South Africa 100 Rand, which in America is probably like $1, because our Rand is very weak. But they are absolutely amazing gloves to have. Right, the next thing to have is a knife. This is number 4, is to have a good knife with you. The reason we try and have a knife with us, you never know when you're going to have to cut something, get yourself out of a tricky situation, cut a rope off, cut some line off from a fishing. You never know when you're going to need one. So I can't say too much about that. I'm sure a lot of you guys carry these anyways. But if you do get out there, try and make sure you've got a little pocket knife with you, just to help you out when you need it. And yeah, let's move on to number, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, to number 5, buckets. Now, the whole thing behind us magnet fishers is that we also want to try and do some good to the environment. Me personally, very important to clean up after myself. Whatever you take out, you should take away with you if you can. If it's really, really large, try and get that to a dustbin that's close by, so that the municipality can take it away when they come around. But if you can take it away, it's so easy just to chuck it into the bakkie or into the car or into the truck or the SUV, whatever it is you drive, and to just dump it at a municipality garbage dump. Me personally, in South Africa, we can sell the scrap. I'm sure in a lot of other countries you do the same. We basically take all the metal we pull out to a scrapyard, and we get rid of it. You don't get a lot for it, but you get something for it, which makes the job a little worth it. So yeah, a good bucket. I have these big ones, and I also have these small ones. I try and carry like 2 or 3 of the big ones with me, because they fill up quite quickly. I like using the little ones for the good stuff, like coins or any good things that I find. So I have the big one for the rubbish and the small one for the good stuff. Obviously, it's up to you. You don't want anything around your body, carrying it around, because it's always constricting. But there you go. A good bucket goes a very long way. So, let me count this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A good scraper. Now, you're going to find that some rivers, some dams will have a lot of iron in the actual mud and stones that you find in the rivers. Now what happens is they get full of muck, like this one does. As you can see, there's a lot of muck on there, and to get that cleaned with just pushing your hand is almost impossible, because they're just going to fold around your finger and keep going back. So by having one of these scrapers, you can actually clean it off quite comfortably, and it's nice to have them around. I would recommend you get one with a hole in it, so you can carry it around, like around your body, or you can keep it in your pocket, wherever, and just always have one of these around, so you can clean your magnets off quite easily. And it's quite a nice thing to have around. So always try and get one that's slightly thicker. You don't want it to bend when you hook into something, because I mean then they become useless. So always have a good scraper with you. The next thing that I want to show you guys is a grappling hook. Now, I don't use my grappling hook that often. This is one my brother made me. He's a Boilermaker and quite a good one as well. And he simply made this for me out of, you know, as you can see, just some rods with thread in it. Used an eye over there, used a bolt in the middle there, as you can see, like a bolt. He welded it through there, welded that part on there, and then I've got a little U-hook on there that I've screwed in with some bolt lock. And yeah, I'm using one of those climbing ropes just to make sure that it is super strong. But then again, ropes I will get into in a moment. So yeah, this is the grappling hook that I almost never use, but I must tell you, if I didn't have it, I probably would have lost like 8 of my magnets quite easily. This thing has saved my magnets over and over again, and I've pulled out some unbelievable stuff with it as well. But honestly, you will find that you hardly ever use it, but when you need it, I promise you it'll be the most valuable thing you can have. And like I said, they're very easy to make these things if you make them at home. If you've got some welding skills or you know somebody with an engineering shop, a very valuable thing to get and to use. And I highly recommend any and every magnet fisher getting one of these and just having it close by. You never know. All right, so the next thing I want to talk to you guys about are magnets, okay? So obviously your magnets are the most important thing that you have. That is the one thing that makes this whole thing possible. So I always make sure that I have my favorite magnet with me as well as a backup magnet. Always have a backup magnet, because there's nothing like getting your magnet stuck and not being able to get it out, and then your day ends because you don't have another. So if you can, if it's within your pocket to be able to afford it, go and grab another magnet and always have it in the car, just sitting there waiting to be used. Because at the end of the day, you don't want your day to be ruined, and it's always good to have a backup. Once, if you cannot get your stuck magnet out, then you'll have that one and you go and get yourself another one. And at the end of the day, spare magnets are going to change your life, I promise you. And you can also swap between the two if you have to. It's very important. So yeah, always have a backup magnet. So I have this one and I have this one. I have two. All right, so this is my little 300 kg and my little 800 kg magnet. So you know, obviously you can see this one's used a lot, so that's my favorite, the little 300. It goes a long way and it almost never gets stuck. Touch wood, wherever it is, it almost never gets stuck. And that's just because of the design, but I'll get into all of that in another video one day. All right, so the next thing is to have a good rope. All right, so this is number 9. A good rope goes a long way. I have literally lost magnets because my rope just wasn't strong enough to pull it out of where it was attached to or stuck to. So I like using ski rope, as it's known here in South Africa. It could be known as something else in another country. So ski rope is basically made out of nylon. All right, this one here is a little magnet that is about 100 kilo pull weight, and the rope that I have here has got a breaking point of 250 kilos. So you always want to make sure that the rope you buy, regardless of what it is, every person has their preference when it comes to rope, but don't, under any circumstances, cheat yourself on the rope. Go out and make the effort in purchasing a good rope. Good rope goes a hell of a long way, I promise you. If this thing gets stuck, you have double the weight on this rope to get this magnet pulled out of wherever it's stuck. And magnets like this, when you're dragging it along a surface, can easily get stuck in between two rocks. If that's the rocks, if those are the rocks, right, and there's a little gap in between the rocks, this magnet can easily get stuck there, and it's going to be hard to get it out of there unless you have like a proper strong rope. And I will one day make a video as well of how to go about unstucking your magnet when, you know, there are rocks involved and things like that. There are other videos out there about it as well. But yeah, let's concentrate on the rope. So as I said, this rope, is a ski rope made out of nylon, and it has a break weight of 250 kilos. So it's almost 2¼ more than what that magnet can actually pull up. So that's always a good thing to do. My 300 kilo magnet has got a break weight of 450 kilos. It's slightly thicker than the rope I just showed you now. As you can see here, the bottom one is slightly thicker than the top one. And then if you look at this one, it's even thicker. It's about twice the thickness as the other ropes. So it's very, very important to make sure that your ropes are extremely thick. I just got my magnet stuck. So that's very important, of course, to make sure that you have the best possible rope. There are many kinds of ropes out there, so don't even worry about it. Just make sure that your rope is stronger than what the pull weight is of your magnet. At least twice the size. That's really, really important. And then finally, guys, shoes. All right, you can go out there with any shoes you want, but trust me, every time you pull out your magnet, water's going to drip from the rope, drip from your magnet, drip from the stuff you're pulling out right onto your shoes. It will ruin your shoes, 100%. So I always recommend that people get themselves a good piece, some good gumboots. All right, these were literally, again, just $100 for 100 Rand. So in dollars, it's like I said, maybe $10, maybe $1, I'm not 100% sure about. Yeah, it's $10. So these are some really good gumboots. They've got some really strong soles. It's even got steel toe tips, should you pull anything heavy out and it falls on your feet. As you can see, it's even got some steel toe tips. So it's very, very important to have a good pair of shoes so that when the water and stuff falls on you, it even allows you to walk into the water when necessary, to pull things out and so on, which keeps your feet nice and dry and clean, and make sure that your feet are safe. So if you're using your own tackies or anything like that, it's going to get ruined. I can guarantee you that. I lost a good pair of tackies that I didn't even think of in the beginning. It smells terrible, not because of your feet, but because of the actual river water, dam water, whichever. And when your shoes are wet in your car, they also tend to go a little bit. However, should you need to stand in water or walk in water for any reason, I like having a good pair of water shoes. Water shoes are specifically designed to go into water, so you have a comfortable wear on your foot without actually cutting your feet with anything sharp or anything like that. So sometimes I have to walk through water and spend time in the water with my feet, so to walk around. Sometimes I've got to go in to go and fish out a magnet, whatever the case may be, and these are awesome for that because they really keep your feet safe, and they're not going to wear or anything when you come out of the water. So a good pair of water shoes. Sorry, these do look a little terrible. They are very ugly shoes, but they, I must say, are some of the best water shoes I've ever had. They're made by a company called Aqualine. As far as I know, they are an American company. So very, very, very good to have a good pair of shoes. And that's it, guys. That is the top 10 tips I have for you on equipment. And all valuable stuff. Of course, there are the little things that you can do to protect yourself. Make sure you have a little medical case in your car with band-aids and things like that, because I have fallen down more than you can imagine. I have fallen into water, I have slipped and fallen into water, I've slipped on rocks, slipped down hills, I've gone to some crazy places. So always make sure you've got a little container that's got some plasters, some band-aids, some band-aids, a little thing like that, some Dettol, stuff like that, just so that you can clean up a wound should you have one. Very important to make sure that you do that. Sunscreen, very important. The sun is quite hardcore at the moment. Make sure you've got a hat if you have one. That always protects the neck and the face. And some sunglasses that you can clean up. And of course, having the best possible time when you're out there. Can't stress how important it is to have the best time ever. And if you have the right equipment, there's no reason why you shouldn't. And that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this top 10. And yeah, we'll see you guys out there when I hopefully can get back out there with this kind of weather. Thank you so much for watching. Please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon to be notified, and as always, if you need to get your hands on any of the stuff I use, just go down to the Dropbox. You will find the websites all and links down below. Thank you, and see you. Thanks for watching. As always, go down to the description box if you want to get your hands on some Big John fishing magnets. It's in a link. And give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. Ciao!